dictionary defines risk as a situation involving exposure to danger, exposing someone or something valued to harm or loss. What the dictionary fails to accomplish with this definition alone is that behind each of these chances of failure is an opportunity to learn and gain fulfillment from your heart's desires. I always feared plein air painting. I knew that people would be curious as to what I was doing, and sometimes I can paint really poorly when people are watching. I even start to imagine what the people around me might like, and then I try to fit my painting into this box that I've delusionally created based around what I think they might like. There is a risk to plein air painting that creates emotions of fear. Fear and risk seem to go together quite naturally. Fear of what people might think of my painting, fearful it will come out looking really awful and everyone at the park will judge me for not only painting it, but filming myself painting it. The truth is, though, with any fruitful activity, you must be willing to risk something. There are 4 reasons why we avoid risk. 1, we fear that we will get what we want, only to discover that we didn't actually want it at all. 2, we fear failure and believe failure to be so painful that we don't even try. 3, we fear we will lose what we already have, keeping what we have, avoiding what we fear. And 4, we fear we will be successful and that we will not be able to handle the success that we get. Thus, we remain frozen with fear. When we even think about taking the smallest action towards changing our lives, we freeze. We'd rather just keep things the way that they are, avoiding any risk and remaining in the comfort zone. It's so cozy there, isn't it? We just want to keep things the way they are now. Even if we are gravely unhappy, we will ultimately pay any price to cling to familiar. I have always looked at people online painting plein air with such envy. I want to do that. But any day I had free time, I would never consider my option of going to paint plein air. It is one of those things that froze me with fear. I convinced myself out of it each time. It won't be as fun as I'm making it out to be in my head, and that's a lot of work to put into being disappointed. My painting probably won't be good, and this will be so painful that I don't even want to try. The paintings I have already done will be brought down by the ugliness of the one I paint outside. It will expose my inability to paint under pressure. What if it's a good painting that I actually love? Does this mean that I would have to do it again and again and again? I'd rather just paint at home. To one degree or another, we all do this. Even the person you look up to the most in life does this in one way or another. No matter how painful the familiar is, we put up with the pain because the new is too unknown and too scary. To transcend this fear, we have to be willing to go beyond our comfort zones, which is essentially just a buildup of our past experiences. Life is to be lived, which requires full self-expression and self-fulfillment. When we remain in situations that ultimately make us miserable, this is our attempt to gain stability. However, there is no constant in the physical world. It is built on change. People change, money changes or devaluates, governments collapse, companies fail. This quest for stability is doomed. The career of an artist is always seen as more risky than that of a life in finance. Finance is seen as more stable because it is based in money, government, a larger company. However, all these things are just as likely to experience change or failure as the individual. The only constant is love, and when you realize that, you can create what you want regardless of what is going on around you. Free to risk, give up what's comfortable and familiar for what is satisfying, fulfilling, exciting. Don't settle for dull, boring, drab, unfulfilling jobs in the name of security. Security doesn't exist. Have you ever heard of the quote, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation"? Immobilized by fear, suffering death of the self, little by little. Once you recognize that you're immobilized by fear, how do you stop it? A great way to handle this fear is to do so in small doses. I went out to do plein air painting with a friend for the first time. This feels like a baby step in a way because I didn't have to face anyone alone. I could lean on her to get through my fears, setting up a camera, taking videos, painting the ugly faces, etc. Figure out exactly what you want so that you can recognize when an opportunity comes along. When it does, which it will, you will also be ready to go for it. Action overcomes fear, and you can go for your goal with baby steps. There is no rush.